What if I told you the most dangerous villain on screen this year isn't a monster, a killer, or a dictator, but your kid's algorithm? Adolescence follows the harrowing story of Jamie Miller, a 13-year-old boy from a typical middle-class English family who is suddenly accused of murdering a girl his own age. As he's pulled deeper into the legal system, the narrative takes a disturbing turn. Jamie isn't just a troubled kid, he's a product of a far darker force, a social media movement led by a misogynistic bald figure who's influencing the youth across nations toward a regressive evolution.
It's the Andrew Tate shite.
The writing here is relentless. The show grabs you by the collar and refuses to let go. Every scene, every line, every transition exists to pull you deeper into its brutal commentary on the digital age. This series demands your full attention, and it earns it. Take the opening sequence. There's no warm-up. We're immediately plunged into a police raid. Armed officers storm a house with guns drawn and special forces in tow. You expect a drug bust, a criminal hideout, but instead, it's just a normal family. A couple, 2 children. One of them is Jamie. What follows in this first episode is both difficult to watch and impossible to look away from. We witness every painful detail of the boy's arrest, the trauma of his family, and the emotional fallout that follows. Initially, our sympathy leans heavily toward Jamie, but very quickly, our emotional anchor shifts to his father, a good, honest man whose heartbreak is depicted with crushing honesty. Even during his son's interrogation, he stands tall, looks the officers in the eye, and says, "Go on."
Because he's told them he's not even a friend, he doesn't really know it, do you know what I mean?
Okay.
And he's got nothing to hide. So, go on. So he's going to tell you?
That's fine, we'll carry on.
Yeah.
Okay.
His belief in his son is absolute. What's most striking is how effortlessly the show builds character. There's no flashback exposition dump. Characters are revealed through action, through choice, under pressure. One standout example, D.I. Bascom, the lead investigator. Within minutes of his first appearance, we understand who he is, and it only deepens as the series continues. Because in episode 2, D.I. Bascom visits Jamie's school as part of the investigation, the scene opens with him telling his son, who studies there too, that he's just visiting for work and won't interfere. But as his colleague, D.S. Frank, rightly points out, there was no real need for Bascom to be there himself. He could have easily sent a junior officer. That small moment says everything. He didn't come because he had to. He came because he needed to, not as an officer, but as a father. He wants to see the environment his son is growing up in. That setup becomes the emotional blueprint for the rest of the episode. We're taken through a school system that feels hollow, false, bogus.
Do you know what, I can't stand this fucking place.
We're only here because you wanted to come, mate.
And amidst this, we begin to feel the emotional gap between Bascom and his own son. The son feels claustrophobia, not physically, but emotionally. His father's long absences have left a void, and now, even in the same room, there's a tension, a weight of things unsaid. When he finally tries to talk, to reach out, we see that familiar mix of confusion, restraint, and resentment. Because how do you speak freely to someone who's been emotionally absent for so long? It's a moment that sneaks up on you, and it's these small emotional details that give Adolescence its soul. Episode 3 introduces us to Brian E. Ariston, a clinical psychologist assigned to assess Jamie. This episode is constrained by design. 44 out of its 51 minutes total runtime takes place inside a single room. And yet, it's one of the most gripping hours of television in recent memory. Here, we begin to see Jamie's fractured psyche. We understand that he's not a born monster, but a boy broken by algorithmic manipulation. He's been pulled into a misogynistic rabbit hole, desperate for admiration, starving for love. What he truly wants is to feel seen, respected. In the absence of real validation, he's fallen into the trap of artificial superiority. It's a raw, unnerving portrait of a child broken by the internet. The brilliance of this episode lies in the writing. The transitions between emotions are seamless. Dialogue flows like a current, pulling us into deeper waters before we even realize how far we've gone. Despite the confined setting, the tension never breaks. And no, I'm not spoiling the final episode. Just know this. It ranks second best out of all the episodes, and that's saying something. What's clear throughout Adolescence is the writer's intent. Jack Thorne and Stephen Graham are not just telling a story, they're sounding an alarm. The show lays bare the modern reality. Children are just as vulnerable inside their rooms as they are outside in the world. With social media at their fingertips, they're being emotionally and mentally hijacked in real time. This doesn't mean that technology itself is the villain. If used rightly, it can be the most effective tool. The issue isn't the tool, it's how the youth have weaponized it to regress ideologically. The real villains are the online personas promoting toxic beliefs and devils' empty promises under the mask of confidence, superiority, and success. This story bleeds urgency. It's not just entertainment, it's a warning. And from the bottom of my heart, kudos to the writers, and especially to Netflix, for recognizing the importance of this story and giving it the platform it truly deserves. Shot in 2.001 aspect ratio using the DJI Ronin 4D and Coke SP3 lenses, the visual language of Adolescence is equally masterful. It uses glowing contrast, warm highlights countered by cool teal shadows, capturing a tone that is dark but mellow, soft but intense. But here's where things get revolutionary. Every single episode is shot in a single continuous take. Yes, you heard that right. No hidden cuts, no resets. Once the episode begins, the camera doesn't stop rolling for a full hour. Technically and logistically, this is insane. The coordination, the precision, the pure stamina required to pull this off is almost unimaginable. And the result? A hypnotic, unbroken immersion unlike anything else. Credit must go to the camera operators, heroes in their own right, who passed the camera between each other throughout the shoot. And you can feel the energy on set, because there are no do-overs, no stopping and restarting. Everyone, actors, crew, director, has to be completely locked in, fully alive in the moment. Hence, the performances feel theatrical. It's cinema at its most alive. Half the magic of Adolescence lives in the performances. Every actor pulls their weight. Owen Cooper is remarkable as Jamie Miller, portraying a boy on the edge with heartbreaking vulnerability. Erin Doherty brings sharpness and empathy to Bryony Ariston, grounding the series with her composed presence. Ashley Walters as D.I. Bascom is a quiet powerhouse, both episodes peeling back a new layer. Then there's Stephen Graham as Eddie Miller. He co-wrote the series and delivered the most devastating performance of them all. And around them are supporting performances that never slip. Joe Hartley as the well-meaning teacher, Christine Tremarco as the mother steeped in melancholy, and Faye Marseille as D.S. Frank, whose very posture radiates confidence. This cast doesn't just act, they carry the weight of the message. Thus, Adolescence doesn't shout its message, it simply shows us what's already happening and asks if we're really paying attention. If you are, this one's for you.